Hello, welcome to Not for Educational Purposes, where we take a random subject we know nothing about and attempt to understand more about it using the internet, while we careen off topic and see how far away from the original purpose of the show we can get. Please be advised, this podcast is so unhinged that we lost the door centuries ago. There will be nonsense, chaos, lots of giggles, and most importantly, swearing and possibly mild sexual content. You know, all the fun stuff, not for children. Listen at your own discretion.
A general trigger warning for this show: we tend to talk about a lot of things that involve the human body, blood, and death, and possibly sex occasionally. So, fair warning. We do talk about things that are occasionally unsavory, so if you do not want to listen to that, be forewarned.
There we go. Perfect.
Welcome to Not for Educational Purposes. I'm Kai.
I'm Nova.
Yay!
With the sexy voice.
Sexy boys. We are here to answer our own questions and maybe some of yours.
Yes. I did none of yours because I did not.
We're here to answer our own questions.
Yes. Mostly questions that I have come up with over the last week or so. Also, if you have a question that you would like answered about the world or life or whatever you feel like, email us. Kai knows that email.
HDWGH productions@gmail.com.
Yeah,
It's the how did we get here, but the first letter of each word.
Let's answer some questions. I have some questions.
Do it.
One of them is okay. I'm gonna do this out of order because I want to know this really bad. Is Jello actually made out of horse hooves?
Ah!
Like Jello and glue, aren't they both supposed to be made out of like horsies?
Well, they're both made out of gelatin, so it is very likely, yes.
Is gelatin made? Because I that feels like an exaggeration. Like, I have a follow-up question after this, because I know that there's a color or a flavor that's made out of bugs.
Yes, that is.
I think it's red.
Ooh, strawberry?
Yeah.
I think it's strawberry.
It's another thing we can Google. I can write this down so that.
Never mind. This is incorrect.
Okay.
It is incorrect.
What is it actually made out of?
Hooves are primarily made up of keratin, which is a protein that cannot be made into gelatin. It is collagen that is dried, ground into powder, and made into gelatin.
So where does that come from?
Where does collagen come from? What is Jello made of? God, it's been on American menus since 1897.
Oh Lord.
Oof.
Wasn't there a time where like they jelloed everything?
Yeah.
Like everything was made into a jelly dish?
Yep.
That sounds so disgusting. One of my favorite drag queens has a party show thing that they do. This feels, and one of them is a sexy eating competition, and they were talking about how they had made this like Jello mold of like all this savory shit. I cannot remember, but they were like, I took it out of the thing and it smelled so bad. I was like, and people used to just do this on the regular. For why? For why? Why would you do that?
I feel like, God, maybe it was just that Jello was really easy to come by. It might have been a wartime thing. There was a lot of stuff you couldn't get during wartime.
Can we Google why people used to Jello shit all the time?
Sure, we can do that.
Yes.
Gelatin is made from animal collagen. But collagen is a protein that makes up connective tissues like skin, tendons, ligaments, and bones.
So do they like pull it out of the meats and shit that people eat? Like all the extra shit?
The hides and bones. Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Great.
This is why I'm
it's
vegetarian.
Disgusting. Also, I don't like full disclosure, I hate Jello. I hate anything that feels like Jello. Like it
Yep.
Nope.
That's fair.
Jello's
kind of gross.
There was a question after what was the Jello
what was that one? There were two.
What's made out of what is made out of bugs? It's a flavor or a
Right.
color. Wait, isn't red made out of beaver's butts?
No, that's vanilla.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Or is it made out of a thing? Or did it used to be made out of beaver's butts and now it's made out of something else?
There's
because
a
it feels like we would
gland.
run out of beavers.
There's a gland in the beaver butt. I see what I want to know is how someone figured this out. How did they get there? What was the process here?
I have a PG thing and a non-PG thing for both of those answers.
Me too.
Oh no.
One of them is they just happened to kill a beaver and noticed this. The other one was someone really wanted to fuck a beaver.
Do not eat a beaver's ass.
Do not eat beaver ass.
That's bestiality. It's bad.
It's real bad. They can't consent to that. Don't do it. Also, it's gross. You don't know where that has been.
I mean, it's been in Beaverland. Don't they make
but
little beaver things?
You're supposed to wash yourself before you do that.
I don't think a beaver knows that.
Exactly. So you don't know where it's been.
I feel like someone would end up with a disease. That's so gross.
What flavor comes from bugs?
I feel like it's a specific.
Oh, raspberry.
Raspberry. So follow-up question to the beaver and the bug ones. Are they like breeding beavers and these bugs not together? Because that'd be weird. But like,
see, the thing
to make these things?
The thing with the beaver one is I'm fairly certain that they have now just like crafted an artificial one from that. I don't think they're actually using beavers anymore. I could be wrong. I could look it up. The bugs, I think they just breed in captivity because it's also used in red food coloring. So carmine?
Yeah,
Carmine.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. It's made from crushed up bugs, which is one of the reasons why I think vegans don't eat things with red food coloring in it. Because it's bugs. But yes, I think it's supposed to be raspberry.
It's what? Okay, so there are so many things that particularly like non-vegetarians are so cool with just eating. It's wild to me. I mean, to be fair, I will eat seaweed and I can understand how that would be weird to some people.
I feel like that's just weird to people who haven't ever had sushi.
That's true, but I like seaweed salad. I feel like
that's fair. Gomai.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's got that texture that I could be like, I could see how someone would hate this. But like, people eat like testicles.
Yeah, I
want to know why. Okay, it's like there's so many things. Like, who looked at something and went, "I bet that would be tasty."
Well, I mean, purely from I don't want your ads, go away. If we think about it from like way back in the day, when you caught something, you wanted to use the whole animal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that includes the testicles.
Yeah, but see, this still requires people to go, yeah, I'd eat that. Like, that's the thing. Like, no matter how far back you go, people are still eating things and just being like, yeah, that'd be fine. I'll put that in my mouth. I don't see, if I was way back in ye olden times and I was in charge of feeding people, we would starve.
Yeah, everyone would have died.
You're like, this is strange. I don't want this. Oh man, it's like my cats and the fake plants that I have. They're like, tasty. I'm like, you're gonna kill yourself. Stop it. Oh no.
Oh Lord.
Would we like a new question?
Most vanilla flavor things are actually from like the vanilla bean.
Okay.
But artificial vanilla flavoring comes from the anal glands of beavers.
Like, still? Like, they kill beavers and steal their anal glands? Or are they just like, because like, okay, here's the thing too. I was a vet tech for a very long time. I've had to express many anal glands from many animals. How does that taste like vanilla? Because I've smelt it and it does not smell like vanilla.
It does. Theirs does smell like vanilla. It's often attributed to the animal's diet of bark and leaves.
They eat bark?
They do.
Why does that surprise? I thought they just like munched it, like spit it out or something. Like
They eat bark.
How? How does they have a digest? Can we eat bark? Is there bark that we can eat? Cinnamon, I guess.
So basically, you knock the beaver out, and then you do exactly what you did to other animals, and you milk their anal glands, and this is real gross.
No! So it's not the anal gland itself, it is what is in the anal gland. Yeah. Oh no!
Oh yeah, so it's
so gross.
Most internet fact-checking site Snopes gave the claim that castoreum, which is the thing, the juice stuff, is a common that castoreum is a commonly used food additive, a rating of mostly false. So it is used, but not a lot.
Okay.
The use of castoreum in common food products today is exceedingly rare, in large part because collecting the substance is difficult. You think? And therefore expensive.
Yeah, I would imagine. How would you feel if someone knocked you out and stuck their finger up your butt? Like, that would go well. Oh no! When did this start? Who started this? Who went? Yeah, I'm gonna put that in my cake.
I don't know.
Like food cake, not butt cake. I want to know who discovered. Oh no!
I mean, so the bad. Reason I think I figured out the reason why this was discovered, and it was neither of the two reasons that we thought of before.
Okay.
So beavers, like many animals, when they mark their territory, they spray stuff from their anal glands, because that's what you do sometimes.
I thought they peed on it.
No, they spray stuff from their anal glands, which means that their territory smells like vanilla. You can tell when a beaver has been there because it smells like vanilla.
That's such a terrible way to keep people away.
Well, they're not trying to keep people away. They're trying to keep other beavers away.
Yeah, but like, okay, so most things, like, with things like that, they're like marking it to keep other creatures out, to be like, don't come here. This is bad. Like, that's why skunks are stinky, I think. But like, that would be very bad. Like,
skunks are stinky as a defense mechanism, not as a marked territory mechanism.
I guess that's fair. This still feels like a poor design.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I don't light a candle when I don't want people to come in. I light a candle that smells like vanilla when I want to invite people over. Oh man. Okay.
It is not commonly used anymore.
Oh lord. When? Oh no. Oh god.
I don't know when it was used.
I have so many questions, and no, I don't feel like they're gonna get answered.
Yeah.
Oh lord. Anyways, let's move on to the next question that I have. When did the term Gesundheit come from? You know, like when people say bless you. I know
that's German.
Oh, okay.
It literally means like I wish you good health or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
instead of saying bless you, it's Gesundheit, which is, I mean, we're
good
saying
health,
it awfully because we're people who speak English and we're
yeah. Oh yeah, no, I don't speak any other language.
North Americans, but
yeah.
Yes, it's a German term. They still use it. It's yeah.
Oh, like bless you. Bless you came back from like the plague, yeah.
Well, a bless you is you're being blessed. So like
yeah, because they thought the plague came from demons.
Yes, so when you sneezed, they were like, you're releasing the demons. I must bless thee so that you do not take them back.
Which is wow. Couldn't like only priests and shit do that?
Probably.
So like, what would the average person walking by just like, bless you? That feels like a middle finger to the demon inside.
Yeah.
Instead of like actually removing them. This would also require them to, you know.
Oh, they also use it in Afrikaans, which makes a lot of sense.
In what?
So, the Dutch at some point in the history of the world were assholes and colonized a lot of the world via the sea. One of those places being South Africa. And because of that, a lot of people in South Africa spoke Dutch. But over time, it is, in terms of linguistics, it has moved so far away from Dutch that it has become its own language, and that language is Afrikaans.
Oh.
And Dutch is the bastard child of, like, German and French and, like, all of that. It's a very interesting language. So, German, Dutch, and Afrikaans have similar roots, and therefore sometimes have similar words.
Mm-hmm.
So Afrikaans, it's also Gesundheit, which is health.
That's what we need to start doing.
Yeah.
Whenever someone sneezes, just scream health at them.
Health!
And run away.
Yeah, and also in Dutch, Gesundheit is... Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that. Oh, that's interesting. There's another thing to say if the person sneezed 3 times, and in English it translates to, the weather will be nice tomorrow.
How did it get started? How is that a thing? Do they really believe that if you sneeze 3 times, it will you'll bring nice weather?
Who knows? But yes, Gesundheit also it just means health, but in the meaning of I wish you good health or I wish that you don't get sick. So.
Ah, I like that. That's so much nicer than bless you. Bless you has like an ominous religious vibe, and I hate that.
Yeah, I use bless you because it's been ingrained in my brain.
Yeah, same. Now it's just polite. You're like, well.
See, I should just start using the actual, like, Dutch one. Gesundheit.
Yeah.
Gesundheit.
I will not say it nearly as nicely, though, and that feels wrong.
God, German is wild.
What?
German is wild.
It really is. I love those videos that are just like, here are some other words from other language, and then German.
Yep.
It's like, why are you so... It's the aggressive nature of it.
I love it, though.
It's the Gryffindor of language.
Oh
man, do you have a favorite word in German?
I don't know enough German words to have a favorite.
Oh, same.
I just know that, like, I just know that German is
aggressive. Instead, did you know that I think this is correct. I could also be very, very wrong. That Thai, some sentences are read from like the center out.
How do you do that?
I don't know. It is also a wild language. It's so pretty to look at. I love it so much. I could never learn it. I'm gonna Google it now.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I don't think that's correct, but I did find something very interesting.
Oh, okay. Cool.
First of all, there is no sentence end punctuation in Thai.
Yeah. And all the words are smooshed together.
Yes. All the words are smooshed together.
One thing.
So you never quite know when to start and when to stop. So it might look like they're reading from the center out.
Oh.
But they're probably just knowing when to start the sentence.
Oh. See, I'm a dumb American. I don't know these things. I heard that somewhere else and then just regurgitated it.
Yeah,
that's so wild.
I don't know. I couldn't find... Interesting. Oh, that's so cool. There's a thing here that says eye movements while reading an unspaced writing system.
What?
Science.
How?
There's science.
Oh. I mean, that's fair. If
this is like a whole scientific essay. Sorry, what?
Yeah. No, you're fine. I was just rambling. For our listeners, like, if you've never seen the Thai language, go look at it. Like, it written, it's really pretty. It looks like art, which is really impressive. again, could never. I'm very applaud anyone that can read it.
And like
Especially for the
in a lot of languages in East and Southern Asia, the context of the sentence changes words that are spelled the same. So like,
yeah.
one of these,
I mean,
the example. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, isn't there like some words in English that is that way?
Oh, yeah.
Like, patient, I think.
Mm-hmm.
No, is patient still sound the same if it's I'm patient or here is a patient?
Yes.
That's still spelled the same?
Mm-hmm. And red and red.
Well,
oh no, those are two different things. That's a totally different thing. That's something totally different. My favorite thing is like red and read sound the same, but they're spelled totally differently.
yeah.
But yes, patient. There are a couple words that we have in English like that.
But you were saying. I cut you off.
So there's one word, I'm not gonna pronounce this because I don't know what any of those accents mean, and if I try, it's gonna be real bad. But one of them reads exposed to wind, and the other one reads round eyes. And they're spelled the same, but depending on the context of the, like, sentence, they mean different things. But also, you pronounce them differently. They're spelled the same, but you pronounce them differently.
How do you know when to do that?
As an English speaker, you don't.
You just go, hey, what does this say?
Yep.
Oh, Lord. My dyslexia would go so wild.
It might not, actually.
Just try a different language. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is I just need a different language.
Because I wonder if, like, if your dyslexia is based purely on the shape of letters in English. So, like, if you were reading a language that had a different letter set, would it be a problem? That's an interesting question. Like, if you're dyslexic with one language letter type, are you also dyslexic with a different language letter type, or is it just the one that you know? Because, like, I can understand that you would be dyslexic with, say, Spanish or French because they use the same letters.
Yeah, very similar.
But if you're trying something like Korean or Thai or Mandarin, would you still be dyslexic? Because those are completely different letter sets.
Oh man, I need to pick up Korean again just for this experiment.
Oh, right, because you're learning Spanish, which uses the same.
Oh, I'm not anymore.
Oh.
I tried, and then I got busy, and then I got stressed, and then I was like, it's like Duolingo got onto me one too many times. I was like, I'm done.
Oh, I don't use Duolingo. It terrifies me.
But I don't know. Is this an experiment that people have done?
I'm looking it up.
Oh, so you're already on top of the game. I'd imagine, I don't know. I feel like, what?
That's really interesting. So, dyslexia is more common in English. It seems because it's the characteristics of a language and its writing system, particularly. The English writing system is so irregular. Dumb. Print to sound or sound to print translation is not always one-to-one. So, for example, mint, lint, and hint, all int words, are pronounced differently to the word pint. And the words through, though, and tough all sound different despite looking on the page that they should sound similar.
I know, it's so frustrating.
This makes English a so-called opaque language. The only way one knows the individual pronunciations is to learn and remember each exception, such as pint or yacht, individually. This kind of irregularity doesn't happen in other languages such as Italian, Spanish, or Finnish. Pointing to so-called transparent languages where combinations of letters are always pronounced the same with some very rare exceptions. As such, studies have shown Italian speakers are only half as likely to show signs of dyslexia than English speakers. And levels of dyslexia can also be far lower in countries with a symbol-based writing system, such as Japanese or Chinese, because of how those writing systems are taught in schools.
Oh.
When children learn to write Japanese kanji or Chinese characters, they consistently repeat the order of strokes required to draw each character while speaking aloud the corresponding word. This helps the motor sequence, the combination of small movements required to write each word or sound, and get wired into their brain. It is therefore possible for people who learn to read and write in Chinese or Japanese to have no idea they are dyslexic until they later begin to learn English and are forced into reading and writing a totally different way.
Oh no.
So this is like almost a purely English issue.
It reinforces the idea that the English language was made by a trickster god.
Oh yeah.
He was just like, you know what would be funny? If I made a language that didn't make any sense and then forced humans to learn them.
Yep.
Oh man, that's wild.
I mean, that's not to say that dyslexia doesn't exist in those places. It does.
Yeah,
but it
says it's rarer.
It's much, much more rare, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's easier to like work with too.
Yeah.
In a place like that. So I know, oh Lord. Sounds so bad. I wonder if that also has, so I have a written expression disorder. I wonder if it also has stuff to do with that.
What does that mean?
Like if it's similar. I have a hard time getting like ideas from my brain onto a paper. Like onto pages.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. Like when I was in elementary school, they would cut my spelling words in half because I always failed my tests. And so they were like, well, you'll just learn to spell less words. And I still failed.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah,
I don't know.
If you can't,
that's wild.
Like if it's in your brain and you know it's in your brain, you just can't put it on paper, then God, that's frustrating.
Yeah. It's wild though.
Could you spell it out verbally?
Yeah. What does CVS stand for?
CVS? As in like the store?
The drugstore. Yes. I want to know. I saw this also on Instagram on a meme. It was like, what does CVS even stand for? And now I'm like, I need to know.
Does it stand for anything? Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just like the 3 letters of someone's name.
If it doesn't, I'm going to be very disappointed in CVS.
Oh, consumer value stores.
What? I understand why they shortened it to CVS.
Yeah.
That sounds very capitalistic.
It is.
Oh no.
It's a chain brand.
Well, yes. Like everything nowadays. It's hard to find one that's not. Though there is a cute little vegan store here. I've only been once.
Oh.
You want another question?
Local shops. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. This is going to be very meta. Ooh. What was the first podcast?
Oh,
like,
okay,
when did this start?
Hold on.
Yes.
Podcasts are a relatively recent thing.
Okay.
Podcasts, I believe, are internet-based.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be like the 80s.
Yeah.
The 70s or 80s.
I want to know what was the first podcast.
Okay. Because I was trying to distinguish between whether you're talking about podcasts or like when radio was created. Because radio...
No.
Okay.
Yeah. A radio show is different from a podcast.
Yes. I agree.
Like, they're very similar in some aspects, but...
1993.
Oh, cool. That's really recent.
Really recent.
What was it?
Podcasts, well, hang on. Podcasts previously known as audio blogs had its roots dating back to the 1980s. I was right. With the advent of broadband internet access and portable digital audio playback devices, podcasting began to catch hold in late 2004, but it started in the 80s.
They're called what? Video or audio?
Portable
blogs?
Digital audio playback devices.
Oh.
Like the iPod. Like MP3 players.
Yeah. Okay.
That was early 2004.
Yeah. Because I didn't hear about podcasts until like 2019, 2018. When I was like, oh, these are a thing. And now I hear about them all the time.
So, precursors. Interesting. This is interesting to me. The Illusion of Independent Radio is a Russian radio program created in 1989 and distributed on magnetic tape and cassettes. It was the first Soviet-Russian prototype of the media phenomenon that was widely developed into the 2000s as podcasting. So instead of like internet, they would record it on like tapes and give those out.
So cool of them just talking,
just
like having a time.
Yeah.
How do
it was basically a radio show, but not broadcast on radio waves.
Yeah. How would you edit that?
You probably wouldn't.
You just do it straight through and hope that you don't have any like long pauses.
Well, I mean, you could probably. I think there were probably ways of like cutting the tape and then like
attaching it,
putting them back together. I think you could do that. Because that's how they would have had to do like movies and stuff.
Yeah. Did they? Okay. So way back when, for movies, did they start to? Because I saw this on a movie. I saw a movie about a movie, and I don't remember what it was, but I remember seeing like they had made it in color, but it wasn't in color because it was black and white. But they had like painted each slide to be in color. Is that a thing that they used to do? If they were like,
I will find out.
I'm sorry.
No, I like this. This is good.
That's. I wish I could remember. It might have been a show. It might have been like the Poirot. I can never pronounce his name. It's a detective, but I really enjoyed that show. Poirot. I am not going to be able to pronounce his name. It's like the frickin' trench that I cannot pronounce. That is also a band.
Is it detective?
Yeah. Poirot. Not Sherlock Holmes. He almost.
Poirot?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Poirot. What? Poirot.
Poirot.
I'm sorry. I have butchered his name so many times.
That's fine. French is tricky.
All I know is I really enjoyed that show. I remember watching it with my dad. But I think that might have been what it was on.
It is correct though. So most of the classic black and white movies have been colorized, mainly so that they could be shown on television in color. The process used to add the color is extremely tedious. Someone has to work on the movie frame by frame, adding the colors one at a time to each part of the individual frame. This changed when you could finally do it digitally. So you could scan the movie, the frames, into a computer, and you could paint it using a computer.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. It was the idea of someone like sitting down with each frame.
That's why
and
movies,
just like
yeah,
taking a little brush and being like.
That's why movies used to be so short.
How long did movies used to be?
10 minutes, maybe 15, 20 tops.
That's not a movie. That's a show.
It is a movie. It's a short film.
I think my brain was designed for media way back then. Because I could sit down and probably watch a 10-minute movie and be like, yeah,
perfect.
This is good. Yeah, because even TV shows are too long. Like, oh man, I can't. It's too much to pay attention to. It takes up too much of my time. There are other things I could be doing. Yep. When people are like, oh, the movie was only 3 hours. Like, what do you mean only 3 hours? That can't be a thing.
I hate that we've gotten into that like standard length for movies nowadays is like 2.5, 3 hours. I remember when it was like an hour and a half and that was perfect.
Yeah, let's go back to hour-and-a-half movies.
Please, for the love of God. I don't care if you have to make 2 movies. Just make them shorter.
Yeah, separate them. I mean, that would be great. I feel like that gives them more time. They don't have to worry so much about fitting so much into us. Like you don't have to worry about so much. Like Your budget will be less.
Mm.
Do that.
And like, if you really want to make a 3-hour long movie, just pull a Lord of the Rings and release 2 different versions.
Why would you do that? Then you have to watch 2 different movies.
For the people who want to watch a super long one, they can watch the super long one. And for the people who don't want to watch
also
the
have a
super
short
long
one.
Also have a short one.
Okay. See, when you said that, I imagined them the same length with like alternate endings.
God, no.
That's why I was like, why? Then you have to watch 2 long movies.
No.
Yeah, no.
You have a regular short version, and then you have the 3-hour long version.
Yes. That feels better. Also, just let's not.
Let's just not.
Let's do not. Like, I struggle to sit down and watch like a 10-minute like YouTube video. I don't like I don't sit down and watch the freaking music videos. So like,
do we have any more questions?
We do, but how are we on time?
We are at just shy of an hour, so we could probably do one more question.
Okay. Where did astrology start, and does it have anything to do with astronomy? Because I know that they are 2 different things. I'm very adamant that they are 2 different things. But I want to know when does it have like roots sort of like religion?
So there's a difference between Western astrology and Eastern astrology.
What is the difference?
Star signs and like months. So the calendar of the year. Western calendars and Eastern calendars are very different. Western calendars usually use the sun, and Eastern calendars typically use the moon.
Ooh.
So, and I say that like traditional Eastern calendars.
I have no sense of direction, so I have no idea which parts of the world you're talking about.
By Western, I mean Europe. Eastern, okay. I mean like Asia. I'm leaving out North America because North America in the past was traditionally like indigenous. South America would have been also indigenous. So I don't know like where I don't know enough about that to say whether they had star stuff as well. I'm sure they did.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They had to have, because the Mayans were the people who figured out the calendar.
Well, I know they use like astronomy for like travel and stuff.
Yes. Of course. The very Mesopotamia, the very first official civilization.
Mesopotamia.
Of the world.
That was the first civilization?
The first official one, the first major one, yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I know nothing about it, but that's wild to me that there was a first civilization. I know that there is I know the word.
The what?
I know of it. I know the word. I know of it. I know that it existed. I did not know that it was the first. Also, I think it's wild that there was a first. I don't know why I wasn't like...
It's the first that we have record of. We put it that way.
Okay.
So there were a lot of civilizations at that time. Mesopotamia is literally called Mesopotamia because it's in between 2 rivers. The Meso River and like the Thames River or something. It was something like that. It was like between these 2 rivers. It's like, that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So 3rd millennium. So like
the 3rd millennium? What?
Hang on a second, I'm thinking.
It's a millennium. Other than
so like 3000 BCE.
3000 B. That's not a real time.
So 5,000 years ago.
That's so wild. That's wild.
5,000 years ago.
That's not real. Did years go backwards until it reached 0 and then it started going forwards?
Yes.
And if so, where did it start going backwards from?
The birth of Christ.
Okay, we're gonna take religious out of it.
Yeah.
Religion out of it. When did it really start?
That's the reason, though. That is the reason. The birth of Christ is the reason why we're at year 2000.
Yeah, but okay. isn't that like, wouldn't that have been like counted at a different time though? Like, I need to find a way to explain this, because like,
okay, let me.
Sorry, I had a thing.
Let me try to explain. So before the year 0, they would not have counted backwards. That's not how that works. The people who decided that the year 0 was the year 0 were whoever decided that at the time, Christians, Catholics, whatever they were called, decided that that was the year 0, and they were going to count starting from 0 because of the birth of Christ. We're going to start counting from now.
So did they just pick a time and they were like 0? Did they count 0 back years before they started counting? Were they like, yes, obviously this is the year 200, and way back then is when we will pretend to start counting?
So each civilization probably had its own counting thing. So like their civilization would have been 2,000 years old. Let's pretend. So for them, they're at the year 2000. And a totally different civilization only started 200 years ago. So they're at the year 200. And you can understand when those two people interact with each other, how do they communicate, right? Like, oh, we're at year 200. No, we're at year 2000. Like, that's totally wrong. So when someone conquered the earth, quote unquote, they wanted to make everybody have the same time thing so that it was easier for them to know what time it was. So they had to figure out a start point to basically say, this is the year now. So they picked the birth of Christ, made that year 0, and then started going from before that. So it's not like people before that were counting backwards. They were still counting forwards. This is why, so this calendar right here.
Yeah.
Says the year 12,022, because 12,000 years ago is when quote unquote civilization started. So it was when the human era, the quote unquote human era began 12,000 years ago, give or take.
Okay. I have an interjection real quick.
Yeah.
If that's okay. I think that people did not exist before the birth of Christ. They do know that there was people. They're like, this is the start of civilization. It fully discounts the civilization of the people that quote unquote birthed Christ. This is the same people that think Jesus is white.
Yep.
This is.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yep. There are people on this planet who believe that the world began 2,000 years ago. World, the whole world, everything. They're like, what do you mean the dinosaurs existed like 4 million years ago? Like, what? Huh? Like the world only began 2,000 years. Like,
how would they think that if their Christ was born 2,000 years ago?
Because they believed that the birth of Christ was the beginning of the world.
No, because in your book, there's a whole...
I know.
You missed whole section. This is a 2-act play in one of your books, and you are missing a complete whole one of the acts.
I know.
Oh no!
It's like it's so disturbing.
I hate this.
I know. But yes, it originated in Mesopotamia.
Astrology or astronomy?
Astrology.
Okay.
So
what did they use it for?
Probably predictions. So it would have been used as like divination and predictions of the future and like how well are the crops gonna grow, that kind of thing.
Do you think this is purely hypothetical because I don't think we can look it up. Do you think that way back in those times there were people like me who were like, this is all bullshit?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Yep.
I would love to meet that person. Just from way back when, just like, I don't know, man.
Oh boy. Yeah, so originated in Mesopotamia, spread to India, and then developed its Western form in Greek civilization during the Hellenistic period.
Oh, the Hellenistic period?
Yes.
Like,
Beta
is that
Greeks.
named after somebody?
The Beta Greeks.
Beta Greeks.
So the Hellenistic Greeks were before the ancient Greeks.
Oh, there were different Greeks?
Yeah.
How many versions are there?
Oh, lots. It's been a lot of time. A lot of things have happened in the world.
Yes.
Just, like
however,
the Greeks, and then the Greeks got colonized by someone, and then they stopped being colonized, and then they got turned into different Greeks, and it's like...
Did they get called? Wait, okay. Because there were the Greeks and the Romans, and they were always at war, yeah?
Pretty much.
Did one of them end up taking over the other? Did they end up forming one cohesive unit?
Well, I mean, the Romans kind of ran the Mediterranean for a hot minute. It includes Greece.
Oh.
The Mediterranean Sea is that pocket of water between Europe and Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I follow.
So everything around that, all of the land, were run by the Romans at some point.
Oh.
So that's like
I played
Portugal,
the whole...
Spain, Italy, Greece, Turkey. I
feel like you just named a bunch of the Assassin's Creed games.
I probably did.
I feel like that is also what it's based around.
Yes.
The Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the first Assassin's Creed does take place in Rome.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
There's also, I think there's one in Italy.
Rome is in Italy.
Oh. Yes. We're on the same page.
Yeah. Rome is probably arguably the most popular city in Italy.
Oh.
It's the most well known,
you know what's wild? Is right after you said that, my brain rearranged the words.
Nice.
And I about said
yes.
Rome. Yes, I did. Oh, Italy's the one that looks like a boot.
Yes.
Why did I think it was a city?
Oh, Italy's the boot.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I fully thought it was its own place. And I think when I thought it, I was thinking of Venice.
Oh, which is also in Italy.
Okay, well at least it got a location.
Yeah.
Oh no.
A lot of places.
This feels like when I thought a safari was a place. If you don't know about that, go listen to our first episode.
The very first episode.
I am in college and I learn more doing this podcast and it sticks better than any of my classes.
Maybe we should rebrand to for educational purposes.
No, that's why it's funny, because it's not for educational purposes.
And yet it is very educational.
Yeah. Just in a fun hanging out with buds way.
Exactly. I'm into it.
Man. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah,
I feel like we're at an end. Yeah.
Oh, I love doing this podcast so much.
I do. It's a lot of fun. I feel like you have a lot of tabs open during the...
I do definitely look up a lot of things, yeah.
Oh no. I wonder with all of that sort of stuff, like, because you know our phones are always listening to us. Oh, yeah. I wonder if your phone is just like, what the fuck am I supposed to throw at you?
The FBI agent on the other side of the line is like, what? Huh? What? Why are they looking up all these things? What's happening?
I mean, would you have an FBI agent or would you have something else?
Well,
do y'all have the FBI?
I don't have the FBI. We have the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
That makes sense.
We have the RCMP.
Horses. Oh, that sounds real fancy.
And do you want to know why they're called the Royal Canadian Mounted Police?
Is it because they ride horses?
It is! Yes! They do. They do
Do
ride
all
horses.
of your police just ride horses? How did they catch anybody?
Oh, well, these are like the fancy ones. So like you know how in England they have like the guards and they still wear like the funny hats and stuff.
Yeah,
That
they look more like band members.
Yeah. So the we call them Mounties. the Mounties only really wear that stuff for like show. Like they don't actually arrest people when they're
that would be
doing
very
that.
impractical.
When they're not doing that, they're like actual police people with like cars and police garb.
Yeah. Do they dress like American police?
Yeah, I mean,
Is it
most
similar?
police people around the world dress the same, I think.
I feel like for the next podcast, I'm gonna write the question down on who started that uniform. Anyway,
Whose idea
thank you
was
for
this uniform?
whose idea? Next time.
Next time on Not for Educational Purposes, we yell a cab and look
also
up
ACAB.
Facts about cops.
I feel like that could get very dark.
Oh, it will get very dark very quickly.
Oh no. Well, where can people find us? Where can people send their queries to us?
So
send us some queries.
We also have a Twitter account, which I completely forgot to plug last time.
Oh yeah.
So we are at HDWGHPROD on Twitter.
Can you send us a hashtag? Hashtag how did we get here productions with your queries?
Yeah. We could probably just hashtag NFEP.
Yeah.
Question. I haven't made a hashtag for that yet, but I think it would work.
We'll make a hashtag.
We could probably hashtag NFEP. I don't think anybody uses that. Like, let me look it up real quick. See if anybody has that hashtag.
I for a second had no clue. I had no clue what that meant.
Not for educational purposes.
Yes, I got there eventually. That's why I was like, I at first did not know what this meant, and now I do. This is why you're the smart one, and I ask questions.
Someone is using it, so we're not going to use that. We will use NFEP question.
Yes.
That's what we will use. There are no results for this. I will post it on Twitter right now.
Yeah, do it. Be like, send us your queries. I will retweet it.
Yes. So we could do that, and then we'll have that hashtag. You can also find us at htwghproductions@gmail.com. You can send us your burning questions that you have about the world that for some reason you don't feel like looking up on the internet immediately.
Yeah, we'll do it for you.
We'll do it for you after like a week or two.
Yeah, with commentary. It'll be fun.
Commentary and shenanigans because we're good at that.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us. We had a good time, and we hope you also had a good time and that you have a good day.
Yeah, have a good day. Go make wise decisions.
Or don't. And if you don't, make sure to bring a buddy.
Yeah. Friends are important.
Go be safe, and if you're not being safe, be unsafe smartly.
Yes. Yep. Goodbye.
Bye. Special shout out to Charles Lucas for being a premium praiseworthy potato on Patreon. Thank you so much for your support.
There we go. Perfect.